Good evening, everyone. Today we're going to continue our discussion on the functionalities of packages that are used in quantitative finance like Quantmod, technical trading rules, and performance analytics, and also portfolio analytics. By the way, we'll be discussing also portfolio analytics. Okay, so what we have learned so far is that we can tap the functionalities of many packages in R. Let's include here, by the way, tidy quant. Okay. I failed to mention to you that we will also take a look at some of the functions that come with the tidyverse world, and that's tidy quant. Okay. The difference between quant mode and tidy quant is that quant mode generates more the focus is more on XTS or zoo objects, while tidy quant focuses more on tables. Tables are, say, advanced or improvements of the data frame objects. So it makes it easier to interface with other data like XTS objects. Okay. So let's go first to plotting tonight. Okay, as we go along, I'm going to, maybe I suggest that you start a new RMD file. Okay, I opened a new RMD file for this one for tonight's lesson. Okay, I titled it chart object plotting and the returns. Maybe I'll put also returns here. So these are the main topics that we're going to discuss tonight. So let's load first our packages: Quantmod, performance analytics, tidyverse, tidyquant. Maybe this four, and maybe we have not loaded, I think, portfolio analytics. Maybe it's about time for you to load it, to install it and load it. But tonight we're not going to look to tap into the functionalities of portfolio analytics. So I'm going to run this. All right. So what we're going to do now is to try to at least learn how to plot objects using the plot.xts or plot.zoo or just the plot function. Okay, so we know that we're dealing with time series, okay, and plotting with using plot.xts or just the ordinary plot is very important because usually, for example, when okay, maybe it's best later on when I'm going to introduce already the performance analytics. We'll look at some functions there where plotting is really very important for us to see the performance of the asset in consideration. So here I'm loading some data, some time series. I'm loading Microsoft, Apple. I'll just throw in some of this so that we can access it anytime. Okay. So I'm creating this object called stocks. I'm loading Microsoft, Apple, Intel, Standard and Poor's, GS, Ford, Toyota Motors, Micro Devices, SPY. These are ETFs, and Starbucks. Okay, just to make sure that we have this data available in case we need it. Okay, so I'm creating this object called stocks, and then I'm defining my start and end. So let's just use from 2008. Okay, or maybe why not? Maybe let's just use 1998. Okay, 1998. Okay, I'm pretty sure that maybe Starbucks might not have. No? I don't know when Starbucks was listed, but anyway, let's just okay. But if I'm going to use, okay, anyway, let's see first. So we use the get symbols. I'll give you a few seconds to write this. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to run this and check. Right, so all objects were accessed, were loaded, and let me just check the dates. 19, so GS is 1999, QQQ is 1999, Apple, AMD, Ford, GSPC, Intel, Starbucks, okay, 1998, it's okay. All right, so there are only a few assets here that were listed, 1999, so that's QQQ and GS, okay? So anyway, that's okay. All right, so caps lock. Okay, Alvin, may I help you? What do you mean by that?
Sir, kasi sabi ko po copying pa po ako.
Oh, sige, sige. Okay, sige. This time,
Um,
I'm not, as much as possible, I would not want to share the code, no? So, gusto kong kayo gumawa, no? Simple lang naman siya. Unless you have questions, unless you have clarifications about this. So, at least para masanay kayo dito sa, ano, sa paggamit ng quant mode. Are you having problems, Alvin?
di ko pa po tapos yung code ko po.
It's okay, it's
Sorry.
okay. No need to, ano, we're not here, we're not doing a sprint here. Okay, if you're done, kindly chat na lang para so that I know if you're done already with the, and check also if you were able to download the stock or the ETF or the asset.
Excuse.
Okay, so kindly share your screen, please. This is Mark. Mark ba to?
Yes po.
Sige, Mark, please share your screen. Okay, let's see. Mark, paki-maximize yung screen mo.
Wait lang sir, nag-hang.
Okay. So, yung code natin, unable to, but unable. Naka-load na ba si ano? Andito na yung ano mo, and start. Andito na yung character vector mo. Okay. Did you load the Quantmod package already, Mark?
Ayun nga sir, check ko po. One,
Meron na, no? Meron na, no?
two,
Naka-check na. So, na-load mo na siya. So, we'd like to see your code.
one day.
All right. Stocks natin is Microsoft, Apple. Tama naman siya, no? So, that's correct.
Null yung lumalabas.
Start, and then let's see, get symbol, stocks. From is equal to start. To is equal to end. Tama. Mark yung start mo, capital S.
Ah,
Yan, oo. So, very, very sensitive si R sa,
caps lock
sa
sir.
spelling. Oo. Yan. That will run already.
Yun.
Yun. Okay. So, yan, thank you, Mark, for asking that question. No? Kasi it's also a reminder to everyone to make sure that the spelling is correct, etc. Okay, thank you, Mark.
Thank you sir.
So let me share screen once again. Richard, are you okay? Have you loaded your packages?
Sir, hindi naglo-load yung Quantmod. Naka-firewall ata dito. Nasa work kasi ako.
Ay,
Pero I'll just copy the code and
sige,
then
sige.
ilagay
Okay
ko
ka
na
lang,
lang
ha?
sa bahay.
Sige, sige.
Apa, sir.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Richard. Thank you. Baka naka-firewall nga kayo, no? Okay,
Mm-mm.
sige. All right. So let's, am I sharing my screen, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. So the topic now is plotting. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Let's first try to plot the weekly closing prices of Microsoft and Apple. So this is very simple. Of course, if we're tasked to plot the weekly closing prices, we know that Microsoft and Apple are objects that contain six columns, diba? Six yung Apple, yung OHLC natin sa kanya, OHLC. Okay, so there are two ways to do this. You can access yung closing by subsetting this, okay, or creating an object that's that is with that has the closing prices. So that's what I did here. Okay, just like what we did yesterday. So I created this object, Microsoft Weekly, and I used the to.weekly function from XTS. Remember we used this yesterday. So if I run this, okay. So first I converted the Microsoft object to weekly, because Microsoft, if you take a look at why don't we put it here? Okay, periodicity. Okay, let's practice some of the functions that we learned, or just structure, periodicity of Microsoft, MSFT. Okay, this will return, okay, daily periodicity. Okay, so this is daily data, and what we need is weekly, so we can convert Microsoft into weekly data, and I'm creating a new object called MSFT weekly. Control Enter. All right, so I now have OHLC data, but that's already weekly there. So it starts with January 2 of 1998. So just to be sure, we know that weekdays, we know that R defaults into as that date, 1998-01-02. Just to check what day is this. It's a Thursday. Am I right? Oh, surprising, no? This is the first time I've seen that Thursday siya nagsimula, no? And most probably it's kasi 2 weekly, eh? And usually kapag 2 weekly, it takes the end of the week, which is a Friday. Tama ba yung function, yung code as that date, 1998-01-02. Okay, so this is something new for me. This is the first time I experienced that the 2 weekly is on a Thursday. However, let's try to see from what we learned yesterday. Okay, can we coerce this 2 weekly to be a Friday class? Can we coerce? Kasi it turns out that the date for 2 weekly here class, it turns out that this is Friday ba? Sa Google, baka mali si ano.
Thursday siya, sir. Tinignan ko lang sa calendar.
So,
Sir, January 2 ba yan? January 2.
Yeah, oo. Yeah, this is January 2. Oo.
Friday siya, sir.
Friday?
1998.
1998-01-02. So 1998, this is the year, the month, and the day. Sure? Ulitin natin ha. Weekdays. Thursday. Ba't kaya ganun?
Sir, baka naka-quote po yung 1998. Yung may quote po sa
Oo,
sa gitna
actually,
ng
yeah. Ganito kasi, no? As that date, ito kasi,
Friday nga siya, sir.
Friday, if we will convert this into a character para as that date, okay? Friday nga ba siya? Sige, tingnan natin ha. Okay. O nga, Friday. I'm sorry, I missed out on the quotes, no? So, sandali tingnan ko lang tong, if I create this object A, just to check, no? And it's 19, kasi magiging numeric to eh. Pag O1, O2, this will be treated as, tingnan natin ha. All right, and A becomes a, ayan, minus niya, no? Minus niya. And 1995 now, okay, 1995 is a day, 1995 days after January 1, 1970. Okay, I hope you're getting my analysis here. So ito class, 1998, 01, 02, this was treated as, kasi wala siyang code, so numeric to. Okay, numeric siya. So, okay, so I missed out on writing the codes, no? So nagkamali ako dito. So,
Try niyo, sir, lagyan ng quotes yung A variable.
sorry.
Try niyo, sir, lagyan ng quotes yung A variable if ano yung magiging niya, type niya.
Codes, a variable. What do you
Yung
mean? Sorry.
1990, yung laman po ng A variable.
Ito. So, sige. B, sige. Okay, gawin kong B, no? So, this will become a character. Magiging character to. Kasi yung function na weekdays, yung as that date, dapat character yung yung laman niya. Yung if-feed dapat natin dito, kasi kung number yan, okay, let me explain ha. So, ang nangyari kanina, as that date, okay, 1998-01-02. So, this was treated as a number. So, 1998 minus 1 minus 2, that's 1995. Okay. So, yung 1995 class, di ba ano yan? Di ba, ano yan yung, sige, I'll explain now. So, ito yung question natin. Si B naman, ayan. So, character si B, ano. And if we run,
Baka tinitake in lang ni as date characters.
not necessarily. Ito kinuha niya Kinuha niya. Sige, let's do this one at a time. So weekdays, Control C, Control V, and then I'm going to change this, okay, by as that date B. Okay, now si B is a character vector, no? So pag kinuha natin yan, Friday yan. Okay. Pero pag yung isa naman, as that date and then A, all right? As that date A, but A is number siya, 1995. 1998 minus 1 minus 2, that's 1995. So pag kinuha natin yung weekdays as that date ni A, which is 1995, it returns a Thursday. So why is that a Thursday? Kasi di ba, si 1995, this means that this is 1,995 days after, naalala yung kahapon, diniscuss natin, January 1, 1970. So ang time 0 sa kay R is January 1, 1970. So 1995 days after that, no? Okay, sige, tingnan natin as that date 1995, control enter. Ayan. So this is the date, no? 1975-06-09. Okay? So this is a Thursday. Okay, this is a Thursday. 1975, June 19, that's a Thursday. If we check weekdays ng as that date ng 1975, 06, 19. Okay? All right, this is a Thursday. Yan. Okay, so the mistake that I made a while ago was that I didn't put it in quotes. So anong ginawa ni Anong ginawa ni R? Trinate niya as number. So ang ginawa niya, 1998 minus 1 minus 2, naging 1995. Sinubtract niya. Right? So, and then, nung kinuha natin yung as that date ng 1995, because a number in R is represented by a date. No? What's this date? 1995 days after January 1, 1970. And that happens to be 1,995 days after January 1, 1970 is June 6, 19, 1975. And that happens to be a Thursday. Okay? So, mali yung paglagay ko kanina ng which I recall, kahapon yata parang may mali tayo kasi I remember na when we did something yesterday, nagkataon na yung date na linagay natin na without the quotes, it turned out to be a Friday also. So, nagkataon lang yon, no? Alright? So, is this clear, class? So, let's be careful about that. Yung paggamit natin ng weekdays, dapat pag may specify tayo na date, dapat naka-code siya for it to be treated as a character. Okay? Otherwise, kung wala siyang codes, it will be treated as a day. Sa-subtract yan as a number, and then yung number na yon that will have a parang equivalent na day. May papakita lang akong example Okay, so suppose it's ganito, no? What if it's negative, class? 1975 less, example lang, 1980 less 10. Example lang to. Wala naman date na ganyan, no? Pero I just want to show you this. So this will become a Wednesday. Bakit Wednesday siya? Kasi, okay, let me copy this. Control C, Control V. If I'm going to create an object called C, and the content of C is 1975-1980-10. So once again, it will be computed, no? 1975 minus 1980, that's negative 5 minus 10, that's negative 15. Diba? Yun, negative 15. Tapos, kung kunin natin yung as that date ng C, okay, as that date niya. So, itong number na negative 15, i-convert natin into a date. Okay, so what is it? It's 15 days before. 15 days before January 1, 1970. Diba? So, which is correct. Kaya nga, it's very easy to manipulate dates in R kasi ang reference na ginagamit niya, January 1, 1970. Okay? Tapos, any positive number will be after that date. Any negative number will be before that date. Okay? Any questions about this, class? Is it clear? No questions? Okay, sige. So let's continue. Let me just go back here. So, tama, Tama. Yung default na, it's correct. The default that yung MSFT weekly, this one, which we viewed here, this is a Friday. So, no discrepancy when we load, when we convert data from daily to weekly. It will always be, the first day it will be always Fridays. Okay? Friday siya. Okay, so going back to our code here, we were plotting, sabi natin, kailangan natin yung closing price ni Microsoft. Here, we first converted it into weekly data, and then here, Microsoft closing weekly. So I'm going to subset yung fourth column. Kasi yung closing yung fourth column. Okay, so I hope you recall this. So if we run this there, and then we will only have now closing prices from Microsoft here. There, Microsoft closing prices. Okay? And then also Apple, kasi we're going to plot si Apple at saka si Microsoft, no? So in the same manner, we're going to convert the Apple dataset into weekly. So I'm going to call it Apple weekly, and then to.weekly, and then same thing here. I'll just, we can run both, okay? Control Enter. Okay, so we have Apple closing weekly. So we have that, Apple closing weekly. Okay? All right, any questions so far? Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to run the code. You may name it differently, but for me, this is instructive, no? So that if I take a look at the name, I know what that object is. So I hope by this time you're gaining quite some confidence or familiarity with R Studio. Okay, starting next week, we're now going to the nitty-gritty details of our topic, which is yung trading, no? And some important details about using R for trading. Okay, then let's merge this. Microsoft closing weekly and Microsoft Apple closing weekly. That's very easy. We have done that. Okay, so just I'm giving it a name, Microsoft Apple weekly, and then just merge the two objects, Microsoft closing weekly and Apple closing weekly. Okay, and if I run this, I will now have this object, Microsoft Apple weekly. Just to check. There, Microsoft close, Apple close. We now have this data, this object, which has both the weekly closing of Apple and the weekly closing of Microsoft. Okay, I'll wait for you to chat to tell me if you're ready, if I may continue. Except for Richard, who has problems loading the na-load mo na din, hindi pa, Richard?
Hindi
Okay.
talaga sir kasi nagpo-pull ng data yun sa outside ng so talagang hindi siya.
Oo.
Thank you sir.
Stick pa naman
Pero
din
sumusunod
kami.
naman ako.
Okay.
Kinakopy ko naman yung code.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So you're done. Okay. So we now go to plot. You can plot it in a single, no? So here we're discussing how we're going to plot it. So we can use the plot.xts. Okay, and we're plotting this one, Microsoft Apple weekly, the data, the merged data. And then we can identify the title, the main title of the plot is Microsoft and Apple weekly closing prices. Okay. Extend this. And then here we can use this legend.lock. This tells R to where to put the legend. Top left. Legend.location. Okay, you'll need this class because in your project you'll have to plot and you'll have to generate good plots. Okay, so these are just examples of plots. If we run this, okay, once again we're using plot.xts. There's also plot.zoo, but it's almost similar, only that in plot.zoo you can put more details. Okay, so here, so we now have this plot. Okay, so you can see here the plot of Microsoft, the one in black, and Apple, the one in red. You can see here that Apple starts here, practically almost zero. Okay, and if I check Apple prices, Apple weekly prices, the Apple closing prices, I mean, this combined data, I mean, here. Okay, Microsoft started at 16.3, while Apple started at 0.1. So quite cents lang yung Apple no, by this at this time. Okay, so aside from, you may wish to separate. Okay, sometimes we would want to not to combine the two plots. Okay, but for me this is okay. But if you so wish to separate the two plots, then we can make use of this, a multi-panel plot. Okay, so how is this different? Okay, you can also include, of course, the legend, that location. All right, so here, I'm using also, again, the plot.xts, and I'm plotting the same. However, I'm clarifying now here that it's now not a single panel, but I'm using a multi.panel is equal to true. Here, we just use as a default single panel. We didn't identify if it's multi-panel. It's a default. Okay, here, we specify that we want two separate panels for Apple and Microsoft. This is very important, especially if you're plotting two data, two time series where their values are quite far. I mean, you can plot, for example, volume and price. Okay, when we plot it as a single panel, just like what we did last time, the plot turns out to be very skewed in the sense that you can only see the volume, but the price is so low relative to the volume, so you don't really see it in the plot. So what you can do is to split the plot so that you have separate access for each of the data. So just like this, if we plot this, we'll have a separate plot for for Apple and for Microsoft. Although here, it's practically the same because the values are not really that far from each other. Okay, so once again, may I request you for feedback if you're okay, if you were able to follow. Any questions? So kindly confirm, class, if I may. Thank you. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you, Ferdy. How about Marielle? Okay, how about Giselle? Okay, see, good. I hope you're able to follow. If you have any questions, you know the drill. Just ask. Okay, good. All right, so let's continue. Okay, thank you, Mark. Now, we can also make use of the plot.zoo. Okay, and we know that zoo and XTS are really quite intertwined with each other. So the XTS class, as we said before, really is related to the zoo class. It inherits the attributes of the zoo class, so that if we are going to make use of the plot.zoo, the functionalities of the plot.zoo, we will be able to plot an XTS object using the plot.zoo. So we know that our Microsoft Apple Weekly is an XTS object, so we can make use of this. Okay, so here we're identifying that the plot.type is equal to single. Okay, and the title of the main title is monthly closing prices. Okay, so here we're plotting both Microsoft and Apple. Okay, this is our data. We can make it so this is not monthly, sorry. Microsoft change the title. Microsoft and Apple weekly. Okay, weekly closing prices. That's the title. And then here, this is the line width. Okay, the default is line width is equal to 1. Okay, you can increase the line width. You can make it bolder. So here, this is 2. This means that this is twice the regular. And then I give a color black. Okay, color black to the data that appears first, which is Microsoft, and red to the data that comes next. So this is color is equal to, so this is for color, black and red. And then I'm giving a Y label. Okay, and then I put here grid, so to put grid, and then legend. I'm putting here the legend. The legend is on the top left, and the column names, okay, the legend will follow the column names of Microsoft Apple Weekly, which is, diba ito yung ano niya, Microsoft.close and Apple.close. So it will take on that for the legend. Length of the line width is also equal to 2. And same thing, may color siya. This is for the legend. So we have a we have codes for the legend, and we have codes here for the plot itself. And then here we have grid. Okay, so if you run this, okay, I'm going to give you time first. So for tonight, it will be all about plotting, and then and then and then returns, and then we'll have an introduction to performance analytics. Okay, so that will be our coverage for this night in preparation for next Wednesday. If you're done, class, with the plot, kindly chat again, please, so that I'm informed if I may continue. Okay, thank you, Mark. Alvin, thank you. So let's wait for your other classmates. Okay, Marielle and Giselle, thank you. All right, I think we're all done. So if I plot this class, it will be quite similar to the, okay, quite similar to the XTS plot. A little bit of a difference, okay, because here we're able to specify, okay, add more details to our plot. So it's, of course, it should be the same behavior. So this is an example of using the plot.zoo, the functionalities of the plot.zoo. Okay, so let's okay. In the same manner, we can also create a plot that so I'm going to put this in another line so that you can see. Okay, here I'm adding some more details. Plot.zoo, so the data that we're going to plot, and then the type, it will be multiple, so separate plots. You have the weekly closing prices of Microsoft and Apple. And then here, for the plot, it's still the length of the width is 2, and color is also black and red. And then we have here, okay, CX.main, CX.axis. So the CX function allows us to diminish or to increase the sizes of your plot elements. Okay, so here I'll just give you this. I'll give you this first as a reference. You can make use of 5 things here CEX, and then CEX.axis.lab.main.sub. And I already placed here what happens when you invoke this function. And the default is CEX1. So if I say here CEX.main is equal to 1.2, okay, this is for the main title. Okay, and this one CEX.axis, of course, this is for the axis. So since it's 0.8, then that means it reduces the name of the axis, the size of the axis tick marks. Okay, so let's first run this. Okay, and let's see what if we change this. You'll see the changes also in your plot. Okay, so we may run this. And you can see now that multiple na yung natin, yung axis natin. Magkahiwalay na siya. If I maximize this, okay, so mas kita natin to na they're drawn to different plots now with their own axes. Okay, and the CEX that we used were for this one. Because if I change that, for example, this is for the title. No? If I make this, for example, 2, then it will increase by twice the default. And the CEX axis, I'll make it, let's say 1.5. 1.5. You can see now what happens to our plot by changing the CEX. Okay, you can now see that our main title increased and the axis here also increased as compared to just having here a 1.2 and a 0.8. So let me revert back to that. Okay, you can also include the other CEX options. All right. Let me, class, ask you if I just want to be sure if yung mga details na to, you know this already. Do you know this already, class? Kasi if yes, then I'll skip quickly to the other parts. But for me, I feel that this few details about plotting is also very important as far as data visualization is concerned. May I have a confirmation from your end, class, if these details like CEX, you already know this? No? Okay, good. Okay, good. Good. Thank you so much. All right. So I hope it adds value to our discussion. Kasi kung alam nyo na, then I will, of course, gladly gloss over them. Okay. But now you can see that you can really manipulate, or you can change the let's say the output of your plot. Okay. Now I'd like to refer you to yung help function ni this is very important, yung help function ni plot.zoo. You may wish to look at that kasi maraming magandang examples doon. So if we seek the plot.zoo, if we seek the help function, okay, so you can see here plot.zoo, this is coming from your zoo package. Okay, and several examples here. Okay, so this is the syntax. Okay, and then yung length ng line width, no? Ito yung plot character, okay? Type is equal to line. So marami siyang pwedeng ipasok na na details about your plots. Okay, so itong plot character, for example, you're plotting a scatter plot between, let's say, two quantitative variables. Pwede mo i-define kung ano yung plot character kasi ang default ng plot character 19, which is just dots, no? Dots na blank. But anyway, there's this documentation here, and there are examples here. Okay, so you can study this. if you want. Marami examples dito. And ang kagandahan class ng examples dito sa RStudio is that you can run this. And ito yung mga examples siya, no? So, examples, and then you can run the examples. And then it will run each of this code here. Irarun niya pati mga plots. Yan. So ito yung code. Okay? And below is the plot. Ito yung code, below is the plot. Okay, so if you really want to study in greater detail itong mga to, no? You can see here several plots that's available for your perusal. Okay, so meron din ditong not only lines here, but to, no? You can see here parang time series to. Okay. So several examples available. May histograms tayo, may box plot. Okay. All right. So anyway, I just wanted to show to you that I learned a lot from these instructions here. No? So I'd like for you to explore on your own. If you really need to learn more about plotting. Okay, may I ask you, class, who among you has been able to use, if you were my students before, so siguro nagamit yung si ggplot2, no? But anyway, I'd like to ask you, who among you have used the package ggplot2 before? Or I'll put the question in the affirmative. You have used it? Yes or no? Yung package na ggplot2. Kasi if we have used it before, ano na lang to, no? Very quickly lang to. Barely use it. Thank you, Alvin. About no, si Ferdy, no. Okay. About the others? No. Okay. Si Giselle, yes. Okay. Mariel, were you able to use ggplot? Okay. This Richard, no, yes then. Okay, so quickly lang, ano, I guess I should also share this with you. Okay, GG stands for Grammar of Graphics. Control C. Put it in the chat box. So this means Grammar of Graphics. And what's so special about this is that you're able to put layers upon layers. It makes really plotting a lot easier. However, there's a caveat here. The learning curve is quite steep. But once you get the hang of it, it's a powerful data visualization tool, yung Grammar of Graphics na to. And this package was developed by Hadley Wickham, and it comes with when you load tidyverse, it's automatically loaded. So for the benefit of those who have not used this, so you'll have to require ggplot2, but if you check your packages and check ggplot2, which stands for Grammar of Graphics plot2, if you type ggplot2 here, it should be loaded already, because when you load tidyverse, it comes loaded with tidyverse. Okay, here. So that should be already loaded. Okay. Okay, so here I'm going to make use of the autoplot function. Okay, and then the notes here says that there's this function coming from ggplot2. Okay, it makes plotting really easy. Itong autoplot function na to. All right, so the syntax is that first you have to identify the data, Okay. The data, and then also the aesthetics. The aesthetics is for the x-axis and the y-axis. And then that's why this is called grammar of graphics, kasi what we do is we layer. No? So here, plus, you can have a separate code for the title, and then plus, you can have a separate code for the y-axis, the label of the y-axis, and then plus, you can have a separate code or function for the X label. So we're labeling Y here, closing price per share. We're labeling the year on the X-axis. The title will be daily. No, this is not daily, sorry. This is weekly. And maybe I should put here Microsoft and Apple weekly closing prices. Okay. So we have this. Notice that the plus class, the plus, should always be at the end of the line. Okay, if you put the plus at the beginning of the line, it will not work. So the plus sign should always be at the end of the line. Or you can, of course, still continue. Okay, but if you're going to go to the next line, the plus should always be at the end of the line. All right, so let's plot this. Let's run this. Okay, so it's quite the same. Same lang siya. So you can see the main here, nagdi-default siya sa left-hand side. You can, of course, class, you can change. Pwede natin baguhin itong mga to. Maraming pwedeng baguhin dito if you want to make it look better. So you can see here the Y label, closing price. That's the Y label. And then the X label is the year. The main title, GG title, is this one. Okay, so quite simple lang naman, no? Okay, and then I'm going to wait for you to chat if it's okay for me to proceed. Okay, good. Good, thank you. All right, so at our disposal are several functions. You can make use of the plot function, the plot.xts, the plot.zoo, and also the autoplot from ggplot2. Let's, thank you. Let's change the plot a bit, okay? So in order to manipulate the ggplot, we will be needing, okay, we have this already, we don't need the library, okay. Okay, ggplot2, and then the scales package also, and then the table. Okay, now take note, although I have loaded this already a while ago, but anyway, take note that ggplot2 works best with the data frame object. And as you know, a data frame is different from an XTS object. So a data frame has its index, the counting numbers. For the XTS, it has its index as the dates. Okay, so let's just load this just to be sure. Okay. By the way, later I'll tell you how to suppress that. You can suppress that message. Okay, mamaya na lang. Okay. In order for us to, let's say, put more put more details to our plot. Kasi kanina auto plot lang to, di ba? Wala tayong details dito. Just the auto plot. The default lang. Okay, default lang siya. No? Default lang. But if we want to make changes there, and ggplot2 is very powerful as that is concerned. What we have to do is we have to convert our data from XTS to a data frame. Okay, so take a look at this. Microsoft, Apple, maybe I should put here weekly underscore DF. Okay, weekly underscore DF. So that we know that this is, of course, you can name it any way you want. I'm just naming it Microsoft Apple Weekly data frame. So we're going to use this from the zoo function, zoo package 45. Now this will convert your XTS object into a data frame object. Okay. So I think one of you asked me before if an XTS object can be converted into a data frame. It can. Okay, and why should you convert it into a data frame? One reason can be because you're going to plot, generate plots, and you would want to make use of ggplot2, because ggplot2 always assumes that works better with data frame objects. Okay, so here we're converting our XTS object and make it as a data frame object. Use the fortify.zoo. Okay, there you go. Okay, ano nangyari dito? Bakit hindi nag-run? Not found. Ay, sorry. Mali ako dito. Sorry. Okay, dapat ito, no? Kasi we're converting the Microsoft Apple weekly data into a data frame. Okay, I was wrong to put data frame here. Okay, wala pa kasing DF na object. Okay, so Control Enter. And now we have this object, Microsoft Apple weekly, Microsoft Apple weekly. Is this the one? Weekly lang to. Ito, weekly DF. Yan. And take note, class. There. So, anong nangyari, class? Kinonvert niya to sa data frame. And yung index of the XTS became a column here. Yan. Okay, and you have MSFT close and then Apple close. Right? And of course, we know that we can change the column names. Here, I'm renaming it column names of our Microsoft, Apple, correct this, weekly data frame. Okay, so let me change the names. Okay, so that's date, Microsoft and Apple. I just use Microsoft and Apple. Okay, that will change now the column names. Kasi yung column names natin kanina, index, no? Ito yun, no? Index, Microsoft.close, Microsoft.apple. I'll just change it into date, Microsoft Apple. Okay, I'll run this. So now our data, Microsoft weekly DF. Okay. Ito na yung mga column names siya, no? Date, Microsoft Apple. All right, and then we go now to the plot. Okay, this one, let's see. I'm going to share this code with you because it's a bit long. And let's not waste time by you trying to copy. For this one, okay, Control C. Okay, I hope it's okay. I hope it fits. Control V. Okay, good. It's not that long. All right, so Kindly copy that, and then let's go over this very quickly. You can see how say, it looks like complex, but it's really not that complex, no? All right, so what are we doing here? We're using the ggplot function. And as I said a while ago, yung basic nito, okay, is that you identify the data. So the data is Microsoft, Apple, weekly data frame, okay? And then you identify the axis. Okay, the axis we're going to use will be the date. Okay, that will be the x-axis. We're not identifying the y-axis yet. We're going to identify it later in the different plots. Okay, so this is the first layer. If I plot this class, okay, if I create an object, let's say plot 1, and if I plot this, okay, no plot will be created. Okay, but let's do that. I'll create G1 alt minus, okay, and if I run this particular code, this particular line, control enter, and what do we have? Using size, okay, later on, no? Line width, no? Hindi ko pa naman pinaran yung iba. Okay, nag-run na siya. Yung size daw na-deprecate na. No? Okay, anyway, so I have here a G1. Okay, kaso nag-run na siya, no? Dapat ang G1 ko, kasi tuloy-tuloy to class, no? Parang isang code lang siya. So even if I just highlighted itong line na to, it will still continue running the others. Okay, so otherwise, if I just copy this, okay, Control C, let me just run it here in the console.
And then yung sir, kaya nag-R script po, sir.
Sorry?
Ganun siya.
Sorry,
It's
sorry.
one of the reasons why I use R script. Kasi nag-run siya as a code chunk.
Oo, kasi actually pwede namang hindi, kasi ang problema lang nito, itong function na to kasi isang code lang talaga siya. Okay, kahit sa R script,
R script.
magra-run lahat yan kasi may karugtong ka na plus eh. So this is just actually one code chunk. Okay, but in ano kasi again, I said that the advantage of using R Markdown is that when you now generate your final report, pag ninit mo na to, you'll never be able to do that in R script. Okay? Dito sa R Markdown, okay, kasi tinan nyo to, may knit, di ba? I can knit this and this can generate a PDF file and a Word file consisting of the codes and the plots, no? And the results of your codes. That makes an R Markdown really very powerful as compared to an R script. No, actually, Richard, no contest talaga, no? Yung katiting siguro na advantage ng ng R script, it's eaten up, it's really overpowered by the by the functionalities of R Markdown. Now some since they got used to R script, dun sila nag-aano. But in fact, yung susunod nga class, I really encourage you to get used to itong quarto document. Kasi ito yung next level na eh. Okay, yung hindi nagagawa ng R Markdown, nagagawa na ng quarto document. For example, ito, paano ko mag-i-insert ng ano dito? How can I insert here a picture? Wala, mahirap. Iko-code mo pa yon. Sa quarto document, copy paste na lang. Yan, quarto document ito, for example. Copy paste ka na ng picture. So it's like an RMD file in steroids. Kasi ang dami ng pwede. If I create this, for example, this is an R quarto. I'm not sure if I discussed this with you during the first day. Okay, pero tingnan nyo, you now have here tabs, no? Insert, table. Wala sa R script yan, wala sa R markdown yan. Sa kwarto ito, pwede ka na mag-create ng outlining, ng normal, ng header 1, header 2. Kasi this is really for report generation. Tapos ito, pwede ka na mag-include ng picture. Yan, no? You can look for the URL or you can browse it sa internet, sa sa site mo, etc. And so if you're really creating let's say a paper, no? A report, a book, ito yung ginagamit. No? Nobody uses R script. No? Pag book, may package ka na book down na pwede mong gamitin with Quarto. So grabe yung mga And we can take a look at some examples sa internet ng
Yung R Shiny, sir, na-try niya na.
Shiny is for web. Sa web naman ang Shiny. Okay, so iba naman yung ginagawa ni Shiny. It's for web. If you're creating a website, no? Pwede rin, maganda rin ng Shiny, no? Maganda rin, no? So, pero iba yung niya, iba yung function niya, iba yung output niya. It's for a website. Ito for reports, no? For printed reports, HTML, a PDF report, a Word report, a thesis, no? Pag thesis ito, o pag dissertation, ito yun. Pag paper, ito din. Ito, kasi marami pwedeng magawa dito eh. Okay, and I hope maybe one time siguro magbibigay ako ng example ng isang document na na-generate using Quarto. But not today. No? Sige. Okay, so let's go here. All right. So I'm just going to kasi ang sinasabi ko kanina ganito, no? Okay. What I can do is tanggalin ko tong plus na to, no? Okay, first I'm going to create this G1. So ito magre-create na ako ng G1. Hindi na masasama to. Kasi wala nang connection dito sa susunod na line. Kanina may plus siya. Okay, so if I generate G1, control enter. Okay. And then if let's say if I plot G1. Okay, tingnan nyo class. Walang laman. Ang laman lang niya, yung date. Kasi in-identify ko ng x-axis is date. Right? But you're setting parang palette siya, no? Parang siyang painter ka, tapos you identify the palette. Okay? And then from this one, okay, you can now go to the next one. Plus, ito na yun. Yan. So from G1, okay, which is the palette, you can now add the different components. Okay, I can put this here. Okay, so G1 plus itong function na to, and then plus ito, plus. So you keep on adding. You keep on adding to it's a layered. Parang lattice siya, layered na na plotting. Okay? So ito class, geom line will now plot a line. No? Ano ipa-plot na line? Sa Y, si Microsoft. So this one will now create a line for Microsoft. And then sinasabi dito na color will be Microsoft. I-define natin mamaya yung color ng Microsoft. And the size will be the standard na size ng line. Of course, you can make this parang kanina yung CEX, no? You can make this 1.5, etc. para mas lumaki yung line ni Microsoft. And then plus, you notice this one plus. Another layer is added. Geom line, this time, ang pinaplot natin si Apple. Color is equal to Apple, size is equal to yung standard. And then plus GG title, weekly closing prices of Microsoft and Apple. And then another plus. Y label, closing price per share. So yung y-axis natin may label. Plus X label will be year. Okay, and then this one, okay, this is used to color scale, color manual. This is used to color yung line natin ng Microsoft. Sabi dito is equal to blue. You may use another color. And Apple is equal to red. Okay. And then, comma, this will now be for the label. No? Binibigyan natin ng label yung Microsoft and Apple na we're going to label it as stock. Okay? Para sa legend to, no? And then plus, you can now create themes. Okay, pag linagyan mo lang theme minimal, it will create really a very minimalistic plot, no? Devoid of any format, no? Parang as in napaka generic na plot, no? But on this you can, from the theme minimal, you can maraming klaseng theme class. This really makes ggplot2 very powerful. Kasi ang dami-dami yung pwedeng pagpiliin na themes. So theme minimal, you have here, this is the base, no? Plus theme. Okay, so ito, dinadagdagan natin ng details. So for example, yung title ng plot, okay, i-adjust natin. So ang element niya, element ng text, horizontal justified is equal to 0.5. Ibig sabihin, center siya, center aligned. And then the size of the font, and then it should be in bold, no? That is ito. Yung title ng plot natin. Tapos ito naman yung title ng axis natin, yung x-axis at y-axis. So ang size niya is 12. So parang font 12 to. Then yung text ng axis, 'di ba may yung laman ng axis, no, yung mga numbers, okay, size is equal to 10. Mas maliit kaysa dun sa title na axis. So ang title na axis, 'di ba, yung y closing price. Okay? So yung y natin, may mga laman yan. Kunyari, yung values 200, 100, etc. So ang size niya mas maliit kaysa dun sa title mismo. Okay? So yun lang naman ibig sabihin ng class, no? You're specifying kung ano yung magiging itsura ng title ng axis natin, yung text ng axis, tapos ito title ng legend, sinasabi natin size 12 siya, tapos yung text ng legend, okay, yung title at saka yung text magkaiba. Yung title kasi 'di ba ang pangalan stock. Okay? So and then yung legend.position, sa mo ilalagay yung legend.position, pwede natin ilagay sa ito right, no? Position to right, pwede natin gawing position to top or position to bottom by just changing this, or position to left. Okay? So dapat ito ano dito. Let me just using ko lang to. Close ko to. And then yung scale naman, yung scale ng date, no? Sa date naman to, yung x-axis natin, yung date ang labels will be, okay, yung year. A percentage y means year to. Pwede kong gawin percentage y dash percentage m, which will include the months, but I'll not do that. And then date breaks, pwedeng every 2 years, okay? Pwedeng 2 years yan, pwedeng every 3 years. So ang magiging axis mo, kunyari 2000, ano yung simula natin? 2000, 1998, 2000, 2002, etc. Okay? All right. So we can now see the it looks intimidating kasi if this is the first time that you meet this, grabe naman ang daming but it's really basic, no? It's really once you study it, okay? And I'm sure kaya nating aralin yan, no? I'm sure you'll be able to see how powerful ggplot is. And then I'd like to recommend you to go to the documentation of ggplot2 kasi doon marami examples. Okay? So if I run this, okay. So you can now see that it's parang pareho lang siya ng kanina, di ba? But of course, okay, kasi theme minimal lang to di ba? So minimal yung theme, and then over that, you can see that naglagay tayo ng mga specifics. Ito yung title ng axis natin. Font 14 yata ginamit natin dito. Font 12 ito. Font 10. Okay? So you can see here that every 2 years to, no? Pwede natin gawing every 1 year, so magiging yearly yan. Okay? And then this is the legend. Di ba linagay natin sa right? Okay? Medyo baguhin natin ng konti. Sige, tingnan natin ha. I'll close this. Okay, let me adjust a bit. So what if I make this 1 year? So magiging yearly yung ano natin, no? Tapos ito gawin natin sa bottom. Bottom, ano pa pwedeng gawin natin? You can of course increase this, di ba? Yun to, horizontal adjust, gitna siya, no? If I make this as 0, so para magiging left aligned siya, no? So tingnan natin if 0 will work or baka 1. So run natin to. Alright, tingnan nyo class, no? Naging left align siya kasi ginawa kong horizontal justified is equal to 0. Tapos every year, no, 1 year, nakita nyo dito, if I explode this, yan. So, yan. Okay? Yearly na yung ano natin, yung plot natin. Okay? And then ito yung ano natin, yung title. Okay, unfortunately, class, hindi kasi ito subject ng ano, no? This is not a subject about data visualization. Although, yung ibang mga schools, isang subject yan, buong term. Yun ang pinag-uusapan, pinag-aaralan, no? And for me, it's very important. Data visualization is very important. So, I'd like to, yes?
Meron rin kaming role na data viz, sir, specifically para sa ganun.
Sorry. Sorry, medyo
May
copy
may mga role talaga na specifically para sa ganun rin, sir.
Yes, correct. Oo, may mga ano talaga, may mga field na ganyan na yun ang role nila. Talagang taga-generate lang talaga ng ano ng mga visualization, mga plots. Of course, hindi ka pa pwedeng maging part ng ganun kung hindi ka nakakaintindi ng data. So usually mga kinukuha nila diyan, mga tech din, mga quant. Okay? Kasi how can you generate plots if you don't understand data? You have to be knowledgeable about data first before we can generate this. Kasi ito, yung mga codes na to, ano na lang to, familiarity na lang. Okay? You can change this minimalistic theme. Okay, hindi ko lang kabisado yung mga ibang themes, but if we check here, yun nyo iba't ibang klaseng theme, okay, ayan theme black and white, theme classic. Okay? Yan. So different. Ito yung ginamit natin, theme minimal. Okay, if I use, let's say, theme classic, baguhin natin ang konti yung plot natin, gawin natin theme classic, and let's see what happens. So just by changing this code here, theme classic. Okay, let's see how the appearance will change. Okay. Di masyado, no? Pero nawala yung grid dun sa theme classic. If ano pa ba yung mga ibang theme na nakita natin kanina? Let me go here. Okay. Written ko theme underscore. Yan. This is theme for tidy quant, no? Theme TQ. So my theme TQ green. Subukan nga natin yung green. Let's see what happens. Theme TQ green. Yan. So let's see. May theme dark pa, di ba? So ang ano ko nun, medyo yung back, green naman. Okay. Right? So it's up to you really to explore kung ano yung mga pwedeng so si tidy quant, may mga grid lines, no? So you can see here, ano pa rin yung natin. Okay. Yung bottom yung legend natin, pwede natin ilagay sa taas yan. Okay. Looks okay din naman kaso yung green lang parang mga okay naman yung yung color combination may blue which is your Microsoft, may red which is your Apple. Okay. And you can see here that mas mataas yung increase ni Apple ni Microsoft against Apple. Medyo stale yung kay Apple si Microsoft, especially during the global financial crisis. Okay. Kasi medyo flat pa rin yung ni Apple, yung price, di ba? Hindi masyado no? Si Microsoft nung start ng ng millennial medyo malaki yung increase niya.
Price
Diba?
yung ginagraph niya, sir, hindi market cap.
No, this is closing price.
Kasi po ano yun, mga na-stock split sila. So baka hindi
pwede rin
accurate
yan. Yeah,
yung price.
That's true, no? Pwedeng yung maybe it would have been different if we plotted the I'm not sure. Maybe the market capitalization, of course, medyo magiging iba yung no? This is just based on maybe it would be good also to plot the adjusted price kasi adjusted price will now take into consideration mga splits. Okay? All right. Sige. Anyway, ang natin dito is really more on the plotting. Okay, so far class, okay naman tayo? Class? Are we okay? All right, before we go on a break, medyo simulan ko na muna to, no? Malaking part ng natin, ng lesson natin will be ang imo-model natin yung returns. We're not going to look at the prices. Yung returns ang importante sa atin. So before we go on a break, let's just take a look at the different types of returns, no? So syempre may returns na this simple or discrete. Okay? Meron din yung continuously compounded or log returns. Yes, Alvin?
Sir, question lang po. Yung dollar symbol po ba niyan, parang i-convert niya into latex code?
Yeah, okay. Oo. Hindi ko pa pala, na-introduce kami latex sa inyo, hindi Okay, so let me just share this code with you. So I'm now using LaTeX. LaTeX is a good language in order to convert mathematical symbols, mathematical formulas into, when you're working in R, into correct mathematical symbology. Okay, take a look at this. So here, you put the $2 and then $2 and then put the LaTeX function here. Tatanggalin ko to, hindi kailangan to. Okay, so R underscore, okay, actually hindi kailangan tong, if I remove tinan nyo okay, pareho lang naman, walang nangyari. Kung nung tinanggal ko yung yung quotes, no? Yung brackets. But let me put that back. Nothing changed. Okay? May special use ang mga no? Yeah, in Python, no? Also in Python. Okay, ito class ang tawag dito, itong formulation na to, it's called LaTeX. It's not called latex, it's called LaTeX. They pronounce it as LaTeX. So, gamit na gamit to sa math. No? So, if you have this equation, imagine trying to write this in Word. Diba? Although sa Word may mga diba? May mga insert symbols na doon. Okay? Pero mahirap, no? Ito, mas simple ito, no? So, this one is equal to, so when you write a fraction, ito ilalagay mo. /, fraction. And then you have here, this is for the numerator. This one. Curly brackets and then close curly brackets. And this is one for the denominator. Okay, so just briefly explaining to you what this is. Okay, yung underscore dito class, R underscore, yung T, this is used, okay, pag naglagay tayo class ng tingnan yung difference. Could you tell me class the difference between R underscore and then walang curly brackets?
Subscript.
Okay, yung subscript is this one. Ito yung underscore, no? R underscore T will give us the subscript. Pero kanina kasi meron siyang control Z. Meron siyang linagay na curly brackets, no? Here. R, curly brackets. Okay. Anong difference? Okay, wala, class. No? Ginagamit tong curly brackets na to pag marami ka. For example, you have TI. Yan, di ba? So, dalawa. Kasi hindi mo siya pwedeng gamitin dito, R, and then underscore T, then I. Mali yun, di ba? Ano underscore lang niya yung T. So, you actually use the curly brackets, Control Z, if you have more than one element dun sa ano, sa underscore natin. But it's good practice anyway. Wala namang kaibahan kung you use R underscore T kahit isa lang, no? Although it will not matter if you remove the curly brackets here. Then, ano yung fraction natin? Yung slash frac class, ito yon, fraction yon, ito. And then the numerator is P underscore T. Ito yan, di ba? Here, P underscore T. It is this one. And then minus, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, class. P underscore T minus 1. Yun, importante yun dito, T minus 1, para yung 1 din, naka-underscore din. Okay? All right, and then here, you close the numerator. Open curly brackets, close curly brackets. This one. So that will now be your numerator. Denominator natin. Kasi fraction yan, di ba? Okay. P underscore T minus 1. Pareho lang. So you know this class. You know this formula very well. This is just the rate of change. Okay, so this is the price at time T minus price at time T minus 1 over price time T minus 1. Although, this formula is not recommended kasi pag coding, mas mahirap to, no? We'll convert that in a while. Okay, so this is for your returns. Okay? So ang gagawin natin, i-calculate natin yung returns ni Starbucks. We'll use the closing prices. Okay, so the other, before we go on a break, we'll compute this later on after we come from a break. The other way to do this class is this one. Okay, ito. So ito, isi-share ko rin sa inyo to. And you know, class, that simple returns is best done this way. Kaysa yung kanina, no? Yung P sub T over minus P sub T minus 1 divided by P sub T minus 1. Mas madali sa computing itong format ng formula na to. Because we just, anyway, just distributed yung P sub T minus 1, di ba? Okay. You run this. To class, no? Distribute. So this will become P sub T over P sub T minus 1. And then distribute, this becomes 1. So this is the result of that. Okay, and this is a lot easier to manipulate or to perform, whether you're using Excel or you're using R or whatever. Okay, sige, before 7:45 tayo mag-break. We still have 4 minutes para makapag-cover tayo ng mas malaki, no? So here, okay, sige, ganito na lang, no? I'm not going to show you the code. Kayong mag-generate ng code class, no? Ang gusto ko, i-calculate natin yung returns ng closing prices ni Starbucks. So we have Starbucks already among our loaded data. So ang gusto natin, closing prices. So daily lang to, so no need to convert to weekly, monthly. We're just using the daily closing prices. So what you have to do is, siyempre, i-create muna kayo ng isang object na closing prices ni Starbucks. And then, you subject it to this one. Ito. Price at time T minus price at time T minus 1 divided by price at time T minus 1. Sige. Let me give you a few minutes and then paki-chat nga please directly to me muna. Do not share with anyone yung formula nyo. Yung formula lang for both class. For both the creating an object that consists of closing prices and then yung computation nito, yung discrete or simple returns natin. Or call this also ROC, the rate of change. I'll pause the recording. All right, sige. The exercise, the challenge is for us to compute for the returns of the closing prices of Starbucks. So of course, we'll have to first, okay, Control Alt I. We need to create a maybe S box. Let's call it S box closing. I'll just call it CL. And we have to get the closing prices, CL. Capital C, small l. Okay? Okay, hindi capital yan. Capital C, is it capital? Does it look like capital C?
No, sir. I think, sir,
Pinapahirapan ako ng-
naka-caps lock mo kaya
Oo nga,
yun, kasi-
nakakaps ako yan. Okay. There. Okay. So closing ng, can do it this way, SBUX. No? This is the ticker symbol for, or you can use S box and then brackets, di ba? Comma 4. That would be the fourth. So I'm creating this object. There. Okay, so meron na tayong closing prices ni Starbucks. Let's just print that. S box here. Just to double check. Then closing na siya, no? Okay. Then, how do we now compute for the returns? So let's call it Starbucks SBUX underscore ret. Okay. I'm going to use S to denote that this is simple returns. Kasi mamaya magko-compound tayo. Alt minus. Okay, so how do we do this, class? Using the formula. So P sub T, well, P sub T is your Starbucks, no? SBUX close. All right, this will be your P sub T. These are all the wait, sorry. No. My bad, no? Yeah. Sorry. This is the return, not the returns. Sorry, hindi pa returns to, closing prices to, no? Okay, then we subtract. Diba, gagamitin natin yung equation na yun. So, open parenthesis, and then we have to subtract something, and then divide it by something. Yung something na yung class, yung lag, itong P sub T minus 1. So, if this is my Starbucks closing, my closing prices is the whole, and then yung lag ko will be, what will be my lag? My lag prices will be, ano class? One period before.
First lag po, lag 1.
So, saan siya magsisimula? Ano yung lag natin? Ang lag nito, class, ano yung lag ng 96.01? It's 95.93, di ba? Right?
Yes po.
So, ang lag lang natin, it will not include 96.01. It will only be from 95.93 hanggang dun sa dulo. Di ba? Right? In fact, hanggang dito lang. No? Hindi, kasama to. Kasi ang lag nito is this one. Pero ito, walang lag to, no? Wala siyang value before. Anyway, how do we now generate that? How do we now generate this? Okay, there's a very easy function for that, no? The log function, LAG. Yan. The log function will get log 1. No? Tingnan nyo, no? Ano yung X natin? Yung Starbucks closing. and then the default is n is equal to 1. Okay, ibig sabihin log 1. Okay, kasi pwede natin gawing 2 log. So gagawin natin n is equal to 2. Okay, so just 1. So SBUX underscore CL. Okay. So this is your P sub T minus 1. Okay. Let's do this, no? So let me just call this SBUX underscore CL and then log. Okay, let's just inspect what this is. So I'm going to copy this, Control C, Control V, just to show you what this object is when we get the log of a particular object or a particular time series. So let's run this and try to see what this is. Okay. How many observations? You notice now, this is this is NA, right? So, kasama to class, no? Kasi may log to. I stand corrected kanina kasi I said dito na kanina, no? Ito, may log to. No? Ito yon. So, 1229. Let's compare this with Starbucks. Ito, 6541. Ito. Okay, 6541 sila pareho. Kaso, si Starbucks closing kompleto, si Starbucks log, meron tayong NA dito. Merong missing value. Why? Because this value, yung January 2, 1998, does not have any previous value. Wala siyang log, kaya nag-NA dito. Okay? So, itong value na to class, walang log. So, that's how the Starbucks closing log looks like. So, if I now, okay, anyway, gamitin ko pa rin to, no? Yes, Alvin? Alvin,
Sir,
yes?
paano po pag log 2? So, paano po
2.
pagka second log na po?
Oh, 2 periods. Sige, gawin natin yan. So, gawin natin dito, log 2. So, giging, ano to? Log, tapos, n is equal to 2. Yan.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? So, n is equal to 2 na. Alright? Sige, just try that, no? Okay, let's just stick with n is equal to 1. Of course, I can put here, comma, n is equal to 1. Para aware kayo na, this is log 1. And let me just put here, log 1. There. Okay. So, it's the present values minus the log 1 divided by our log 1, which is this one. Control C, Control V, but we need to put, hindi, kailangan natin lagyan to ng parenthesis, no? Kasi, we're trying to say that unahin tong numerator, i-minus muna, saka mag-divide. So if we run this, I'm just going to run this, yung rets. All right, take a look at this class. Okay, tingnan nyo. So may NA dito, no? May missing value dito kasi hindi siya makapag-compute ng return kasi walang previous value to. Okay? So, all right. So it's any questions about this before we go on a break? Clear ba class? Were you able to get the returns of Starbucks closing prices? Evaluate natin, ha? Tingnan natin, ha? Just to try. So ito yung prices ni Starbucks, ito. So kunin natin yung ano yung magiging returns for this one. So we're just evaluating it. I'm going to copy this price. Control C, Control V, and then minus yung previous, kasi price at time T, Control C, Control V, and then another Control V. So price at time T, this is at price time T, minus time T minus 1 yung previous value niya. Okay? So minus, then the divide. Okay, so this is your simple returns or discrete returns. So I'm getting here 0.008339. So let's see what's the return here. Unang-una. So that's, diba? So this is in scientific notation. 4 decimal places to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 0.008339. May konting difference sa dulo kasi when I copy this class, hindi naman ito eksaktong no? Okay. Subukan kong, sandali. If I again copy directly from this one. You have to copy. Control C, Control D. Let me see if there's a difference here. 914, 914 pa rin. Hindi nagbago. So, yung sa computation niya, 8339605. Okay, 9605. Okay, so there's some discrepancy dun sa very pretty negligible naman yung discrepancy. Okay? All right. So, are there any questions, class? Before we go on a break? Any questions? When we return, class, we'll continue with the computation of the returns. Okay? See? Nonsense. Okay, thank you. So, okay lang ba na 10-minute break lang tayo? 8 o'clock na. Eh, kahit mga 8:11 o 8:12. Huwag na 8:15, ha? Okay, sige. Let me... So, we have done, what we have done is to compute for the simple returns, the rate of change. And it's all, for simple returns, it's usually denoted by capital R. Okay, yung continuously compounded small r siya. Okay, so the formula there is to, this one, we subtract the lag from the current values, then divide by the lag. And then we said there's a function called lag that we can use. Now, for this one, it's actually getting the difference of your, this one is your price at time t minus price at time t minus 1. Instead of writing this, you can also make use of this function. This one, class, take a look at this here. So this is a lot easier than to spell this out. Starbucks closing minus the lag of Starbucks. You can just use this function, difference. It will do the same thing. It will subtract p at t minus 1 to price at time t. And then this will be the denominator. Okay. Then let's print the first three lines. I'm going to run this. Okay. Same thing. The first value is NA. Okay. I'll give you time to use this difference. And then notice that there's an NA here. Now, if there's an NA, when you later use this, let's say for portfolios, if there's an NA, it will generate an error term. For example, let's see. Let's get the mean of Starbucks Red S. S box here. Let's get the mean of that. If you get the mean of that, control enter, it will generate an NA value. Why? Because there's a missing value here. So by default, if there's a missing value, R, it seems like it's like notifying us, warning us that there's a missing value. So we have to address that first. So in order to address that missing value, we can do this. Same name, and then you can just put here na.omit. Okay? That will now remove the NAs there. So na.omit, and then you just follow the same function. The difference of Starbucks closing divided by the log of Starbucks closing. Okay, so if you run this and then get the first three observations, control enter, notice now that the first value, the NA value, has been removed. And if we get the mean of, not have to type it. Okay, if I get the mean of Starbucks, okay, it will now give us a value. A while ago, it did not because there was a missing value. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to complete your notes. And then if you're done, class, kindly please chat. Okay, thank you, Mark. Joe, thank you. Ferdy, thank you. Mariel, okay, thank you. I think we're all complete. All right, so how about this? Okay, I shared this with you. This is a lot easier. Okay, so let's just, okay, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so let's call it S box ret. Maybe we can just put a 1 here. And same thing, na.omit. And then this is your numerator, S box closing price divided by the log of Starbucks. Okay. And then let me see, we close the log here and then -1. We can put -1 because this will follow the PEMDAS, no? It will divide first and then -1. And then let's just close the na.omit here. Okay, so again, let's get the first three observations. And if we run this, okay, so this is a lot easier because you don't have to put the difference. Okay, so less work as far as the function is concerned. And it's the same. Same everything. Okay, so on the other hand, we have another return called continuously compounded returns. Okay, and the formula for continuous compounded returns, if we're going to make use, suppose you have already the discrete returns or simple returns. To get the continuously compounded returns, we get the log of 1 plus the simple returns. So that's the relationship. Okay, the continuous returns, the continuous returns R sub t is equal to log of 1 plus big R sub t. Okay, this is your simple returns. And that's why we can also get, if we have the compounded returns, we can also actually get the simple returns. So if we exponentiate this so that we remove the log, we have here e to the r sub t is equal to, the log cancels out because we exponentiate this, is equal to 1 plus r sub t. Therefore, the simple returns is simply you exponentiate your r sub t and then subtract 1. Okay, so that's a relationship between your continuously compounded returns and your simple returns. Okay, so this basic, I'm sure you know this, you have encountered this before. Okay, so using R now, okay, we can create this object called, okay, let me replace this by Starbucks ret, and I'm going to call it C for continuous. Okay, and then also use the na.omit, and then we get the log of 1 plus the Starbucks returns. So we will be generating the returns, the continuous returns of Starbucks without the NA. And if I run this and print the first 3 here, there. And just by way of an exercise, this one class is your returns. We said that this is the compounded returns. If we know the compounded returns, we can actually compute for the simple returns. No? So we just exponentiate this e to the r sub t, and then subtract 1, 0.1328903, and it's 8903. There you go. So we were able to show that indeed, if you're able to compute for the simple returns, you'll be able to get the compounded returns, and vice versa. Okay. Once again, class, may I request your feedback? If I'm sure you have no questions about this. This is pretty straightforward. Unless there are any questions, please feel free. Okay, good. Okay, so let's now go to, okay. So if we are not from the simple returns, how do you get, if you're using the prices, okay, the return is actually equal to log of price at time t over price at time t minus 1. So that's why sometimes continuously compounded returns are called log returns. So you get the log of the the current price divided by the price at time t minus 1. So this one, you can write this as log of p sub t minus log of p sub t minus 1. That's another way to write this. It's a difference between the logs. Okay, that's why we can use this formula. Okay, so here I'm using this one now. Still Starbucks ret C compounded is equal to the difference of the log. The difference of the log of log of Starbucks. So what will happen is that it will get the log of Starbucks, all the data, and then we get the difference. The difference is the value of log at time t, okay, minus the value at time t minus 1, which is this one. Okay, so this is another way to get the log returns, or you can directly use the log function and then Starbucks closing divided by log of Starbucks closing. So several ways to do that. As long as you understand the formula, as you know the formula, then there will be no, I hope there will be no doubt as far as what the formula should be. Okay, so that's just another way to write our continuous return. So let me just run this, and to compare it with the one above, it will be exactly the same. Okay, no problem. Exactly the same yung compounded returns. Okay, so what we have done is so far we have looked at returns, the simple returns or the discrete returns, and also the continuously compounded returns or log returns. Okay, now we can make use of Quantmod to compute for the returns. Okay, so I'll share this one. So far, what we have done is to use the Control C, use the formula itself. Okay, we now go to, oops, it's too long. We now go to using the functions of Quantmod and also of performance analytics to compute the returns. Let me copy up to this one. And okay, let me just copy the code also to this one. Let me see if this will work. Control C. Okay, not didn't. So again, in the interest of time, okay, for this one, I'll just Control C. I'll just share the code with you. Okay, so let's take a look at this class. If you recall, we discussed the index at yesterday. So when you convert data into weekly or monthly, we can determine, for example, will it be the first day of the week or the last day of the week or the start of the week or the end of the week, etc. So we discussed that last time. Okay, here, what we're going to do now is, all right, from the Starbucks data itself, okay, SBox, we're going to create now an object that contains the daily returns, okay, or weekly returns or monthly returns. So we're not going to compute anything here. We'll just make use of the function. So I'm creating an object here. Okay, let's just plot here the using chart series Starbucks. Try to see the plot of Starbucks. There you go. We'll have we'll discuss the charts in a while. Okay, so here I'm creating this object Starbucks daily ret. Okay, and this will be for daily returns. The default is always uh, simple. So let me daily. Let me see the function daily return. Always good to seek help from the function. All right. So here, class, this is your data. These are your prices. And then you can identify if it's monthly return. Okay. And then here you can identify the type. The type can be arithmetic or it can be, let's take a look at the type. Type arithmetic or discrete or log or continuous. So you can identify class. The default is, if you're not going to type this one, the type, it will be arithmetic or it will be simple returns. Okay, so let's do this. So the daily returns function can easily, because of this, the presence of the periodicity here, can easily help us calculate the returns, whether it's daily or weekly or monthly. So I'm using here specifically daily return, so no need to specify the periodicity because daily return will give us daily returns. Okay, so if we run this, okay, so take note that Starbucks has six observations, six variables, S-box daily ret S. So it gives us, oops, no, not this one. Where's that one? Starbucks. What name did I use? S-box daily ret S. Okay, so this is on the Starbucks data. Okay. Starbucks daily here. Daily ret S. And this is simple returns. Oh, naglolo ko na ng ups. Oh no. Okay, let me pause recording first. Okay, I apologize for that. All right, so let's go back to where were we here? We were using the Quantmod package function, daily return, weekly return. So this is automatic class, unlike a while ago where we had to create the closing price. No, not that one. I'm sorry. Where we had to to compute for the returns manually. So if I run this, Starbucks daily ret as this one, since Starbucks class, okay. So even if Starbucks here, notice that Starbucks consists of the six elements here. However, if I use the so many open, let me close some of them. As I said, Starbucks consists of 6 columns, right? But using the daily returns class, generated just one column. So nag-default siya class. Now ang question, what data was used in computing for the daily returns? Was it the adjusted? Which one class? What was computed? If we take a look at the documentation of daily return, okay, object of state prices, kailangan yung OHLC, and then the type is either discrete or continuous, and then okay, okay. So dito class may sinasabi dito, no? Because we're wondering why it's only one when in fact you have 6. You can actually compute for the daily rate of change. By default, if subset is null, the full data set will be used. So the default is a subset is equal to null. Therefore, it says here that the full data will be used. Okay. However, the resulting data, the resulting output is that ito, no? Okay, daily returns. So hindi siya yung full. In your case, class, can you please tell me, did it compute for the returns of each of the open, high, low, close? Class? Same result tayo, no? Okay, so it defaulted into, now ang question class, what's this? Yung daily return na to. So this one class is unexpected because when we computed for the returns previously manually, there was no value here because there's no previous value. This one we have, okay? We have for this one. And if we take a look at the Starbucks and let's see, volume, closing price, let's use the closing price. So this is the January 5, Control C, Control V, and then this is the January 2. I'm checking if what was used was the closing price. Control C, Control V, and then -1, Control Enter. Okay, negative 0.0132. Okay, so that tells us that Starbucks daily returns negative 0.0132. Okay, 8903. So indeed, the closing price was used. Okay. So no problem for us if we're using the closing price. However, if we want to use the adjusted price, then we will have to create first the adjusted prices. Okay. Now for this one, okay, it defaulted into getting the ratio between the closing and the opening. So let me just, which is not standard. Okay. So closing, Control C, divided by the opening. -1, 195754. I'm sorry. Okay, there class. So nag-default siya no into getting the closing and opening. Ang assumption dito class is the opening was the closing of the previous day. Okay, but when we computed it class, okay, when we computed it a while ago, nag-NA siya, di ba? Nag-NA siya. So just be aware, be wary of that. Okay, because this might not be accurate kasi this is assuming that the closing is the opening. The closing of the yesterday is the opening of today, which might not be necessary too. Okay. And I'll leave you class to look at the others. Okay. Kasi, let's take a look at this, yung weekly class. So I'm creating Starbucks weekly ret. I'm going to put here S. Or let me put here C. Okay. So for C, what should I put here, class? Well, what will now happen is that we have to write here the type, no? Okay, weekly return type is equal to continuous, continuous. Okay, so easily computed class, whether it's arithmetic returns or log returns. So I just place here Starbucks weekly ret continuous. Okay, weekly return. Okay, Starbucks type is equal to continuous. So let me run this and see. Okay, what happened here? Okay, error in match should be one of log or arithmetic. So my syntax is wrong. Ang sabi dito, dapat log siya. Okay, so use log, okay, and not continuous. The log is continuous. Okay, so that's what it's saying here. I made the mistake of typing, where is that? Typing continuous when in fact it should have been log. Okay, so let's change this. Let's make it log. So for the simple returns, you should use, the type should be arithmetic, type arithmetic and not discrete. Okay, so you can see here the error should be one of log or arithmetic. All right, so this will run now. So this is Starbucks weekly return. Okay, continuous or log returns. Okay, there you go. Starbucks weekly return, and this is the first Friday. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, and then 1, 2, 9, 16. Now it's weekly. Okay, and you can just run this. You can identify if you're not defining it, then it will be the default is type is equal to arithmetic. But we can use that here. Type for practice is equal to, and then we don't use discrete but use arithmetic. Arithmetic. Okay, so it pays always to check on the syntax. Okay, so that if there are mistakes, then you can check what the function requires. So this is also monthly. Okay, and let's see, Starbucks monthly. Okay, there you go, end of the month. Okay, so aside from this, okay, we have daily return, weekly return. We can also make use of another function called return.calculate. Okay, so this is coming from your performance analytics. Okay, so we have used, so let me just share this so that we save on time because I want to reach this one. Okay, so I shared to you the code because I know you can understand this already. So this one makes use of the return.calculate. There's another one class. So for performance analytics, you can also use calculate returns. So same thing, calculate returns or return.calculate. You can use this or you can use return.calculate. So you can also compute for the simple or the log returns. This is coming from the performance analytics. So this is what I was saying a while ago. Sometimes when you load a package, it gives some startup messages. Okay, you can suppress that. So use this suppress packages startup message, and then library performance analytics. When I run this, okay, notice that no startup messages are shown. Usually when you load tidyverse, okay, it will generate some messages about what other packages are loaded with it. If I run this here, okay, notice that there are no messages that come out. So if you want just a straightforward loading without the messages, then you can use it. Suppress package startup messages, and then library, and then the package. All right, so I shared this with you. Simple returns. Okay, I'm creating this again. And then, okay, let's remove first and a.omit because, okay, this one, return.calculate, and the object is Starbucks closing prices. Okay, method is equal to, here, the method in the daily, here, daily return, okay, weekly return, the syntax is type is equal to log or type is equal to arithmetic. Here makes use of method and method is equal to discrete. So you may check this. You may check the syntax for return.calculate. And if you run this, okay, so Starbucks closing not found. Didn't I create? Okay. It's not found class because my R aborted a while ago. So let me just use this. Okay. Let me just use just access closing and then S box. Okay. So I'm asking R to calculate the returns, the simple returns or arithmetic returns of Starbucks closing. And then let's run this. There you go. My NA tayo. Oops. Kasi hindi tinagal ko yung NA, no? And if I put here NA dot omit, it will NA dot omit. It will remove the NA. If I run this again. So there you go. Same thing as what we did a while ago. But this time using the function return that calculate. Or we can make use of this also. Here I'm going to also make use of CL, or for a change, I'm going to use AD, adjusted Starbucks. If I want to use an adjusted price, I'm going to use AD, opening OP, closing CL. Okay, adjusted price of Starbucks. This time method is equal to same thing with daily return log. Okay. And run this. So these are now the continuously compounded or log returns for adjusted prices of Starbucks. All right. Okay, so far class, let's just use the remaining part. I have a few more minutes just discussing this. I'll share the code and the notes class. Okay, are there any questions about the return that calculate? Kindly chat, please, if so far you're able to follow. Okay, good. Thank you, Giselle. How about the others? Okay, thank you, Ferge. Marielle, thank you. Alvin, thank you. All right, so we now go to this last topic for today is the Mark, thank you. Yung equity curves natin. Are you familiar with equity curves? Can you please chat, please? If you're familiar with this, ever heard of this class? Ever done this in your prior subject? Okay, that's good because that's good. Maybe in conceptually, but maybe not generating the equity curve. Okay, so I'll share with you my notes on this. This is very simple. Okay, this one first, so that we can, just to make sure that we're able to really discuss this. Okay, what are equity curves? Okay, if you want to compare the performance of the returns of your assets for multiple periods, you would use the cumulative returns of each asset. And then if you plot this, the plot that you're going to get is called your equity curve. Okay, and what does the equity curve tell us? It shows us how 1 peso or $1 investment grows over time. Okay, so of course, let's say you're looking at a period from January 1, 2020, year 2000 until December 31, 2023. If you plot the equity curve of that, the higher the ending value, of course, means the higher will be, the higher is the better is the performance if you're comparing two assets. Okay, and then let's take a look at the formula. Using simple returns, you have R sub T. You have here the product. Okay, you have here the product ranging from J is equal to 0 to J is equal to K minus 1. Okay, so what you do here is 1 plus the return at period 1, and then times 1 plus the return at period 2, and then 1 plus the return of period 3, etc. So this is product. This is not sum. So this is the product of the 1 plus the returns. Okay. And if you get the log of this, you'll have the continuously compounded, right? Okay, so but we're just getting 1 plus the arithmetic return. So let's do this. Okay, I'm going to share this with you. This time for continuously compounded. I'm sorry. For continuously compounded, the formula is this. Okay, it's the sum. Okay, so this is a, if you recall, one of the important attribute or quality of the of log returns or continuously compounded returns is that it's additive. Okay, you can just add the returns, unlike the simple returns. Okay, so let's once again go here. Okay, so we will need to create. Okay, Control C, and I'll share this. First, I need to get the closing price also of let's see, Microsoft and Starbucks. Okay. So let's also create the, I don't have it now. You might have it, no? Starbucks. Because my my R crashed a while ago. Closing of S-box. All right. So I'm now creating this this XS object of the closing prices of Microsoft and Starbucks. There. Okay. Then let's see. I'll share this with you. Okay, the whole thing. Okay, and this will be our discussion for today. Sorry, we weren't able to reach charting using Quantmod, but that's we'll take that next time. That's quite easy. All right, so let's compute for the returns. Let's just the returns. This is simple returns, diba? And NA.omit, just to remove the NA. Return that calculate, we're using this Microsoft closing. You don't have to write type is equal to discrete. Okay, and also for Starbucks, we'll compute for the returns. Okay, when you plot the equity curves, you're not using the prices, but you're using the returns. In fact, take a look at the formula. These are the returns. Okay, these are the cumulative returns. So, as I said a while ago, for continuous, you just add to get the cumulative returns. All right, so if I run this two, we're going to create the simple returns, arithmetic returns for Starbucks and this one, Starbucks. You can see that there are no more why is this monthly? Monthly ba yung ginamit ko? Okay, wait. Why is this monthly? Sorry. My bad. It's Microsoft Starbucks returns here. This one. It's this one. Okay. So it's Starbucks that close. So these are your daily returns natin to, no? We're computing for the daily returns, and there's no 1 January 2 because that's NA. Okay. So the same thing is true also for your Microsoft. So we have Microsoft and Starbucks, we have daily returns. Okay, we did not put any periodicity there. Okay, here, we did not put periodicity is equal to weekly, etc. Now, the formula for the equity curve for Microsoft, for simple returns is just this. Cumulative product, that's this one, class. That's this one here. Product, okay? And cumulative, we're adding. Cumulative product of 1 plus Microsoft your arithmetic returns, and also for the equity for Starbucks is, for the simple returns, is cumulative product 1 plus the Starbucks returns. So let's run this. Okay. So I now have here my equity curve for Starbucks. If you take a look at this, take note that notice that it's adding over time, accumulating over time. There until here, it's 40.822. It started with 0.98, then there was growth, 1998 until 2023, right? And on the other hand, the equity for Microsoft is, it started with a return of 0.99, okay? And then cumulatively, we're multiplying it by 1 plus the return, it became 22, okay? 22. As compared to Starbucks, cumulative return was 40. Okay. Now let's merge these two. Microsoft, Starbucks equity curves simple. Okay, so we're merging the equity for Microsoft, equity curve for Starbucks. I'm going to run this. Okay, so we now have a data set, this one, merge of the two, and then we plot. Just going to use the ordinary plot function. Plot this object, Microsoft Starbucks equity curve simple, and the main is monthly equity curves. You can just put Microsoft and Starbucks there. And then legend location, it's on the top left. I'm going to run this. Okay. Control enter. Okay. Okay. So this is your cumulative, this is your equity curve for the red one is Starbucks and the black one is Microsoft. Okay, and I gave here some, I don't know if I think I shared this with you, right? All right, so these are just some of my notes here. The function cumulative product creates the cumulative products needed for the equity curves. Okay, so going back to this formula. Okay, so it sums up. It sums this up. 1 plus return at period 1, multiply this by 1 plus return at period 2, and then it sums it up. Okay, so it will keep on increasing because there's this factor 1 plus the increase, 1 plus the rate of return. The rate of return is 0.5, then it will be 1.5, right? Times the next one is 1.25, for example. So it will keep on increasing because of this additive factor 1. That's why it's called cumulative. So my notes here is that, sorry. Okay. Cumulative products class. So you can see here that Starbucks was outpacing Microsoft, diba? Especially from this period around 2008, during the global financial crisis. It was Microsoft that's really suffered greatly. Starbucks seemed to be impervious to that global financial crisis. But during the pandemic, pareho silang bagsak, no? Here, you can see here. But overall, you can see that the initial returns, compounded returns, was halos pareho sila. But at the end of 2023, look at where Starbucks is now. So this is a very important curve, itong cumulative returns na to, or itong equity curves natin. Okay, so as I stated here, Starbucks dominated a $1 investment in Microsoft for most of the years over the given period. All right, now hindi ko napalitan to, no? Kasi yung kaninang ginawa ko nito, it was 2008, no? But I changed it into 1998, so may mga magkakaroon ng changes dito, no? So dito, I will now have to change this because hindi naman naka-overtake si Microsoft, eh. So just be, I think I shared with you, no? So this is wrong because the equity curves does not show us that Microsoft overtook Starbucks. Never. Dito sa simula, no, sa 1998, lamang si Microsoft, but that was for a brief period. And then nag-overtake na si Starbucks. And then come the global financial crisis, pre-global financial crisis, okay, and maybe some periods of it, bumagsak si Starbucks, but it began to recover at the start of the post-GFC. Ang laki na recover niya. Samantalang si Microsoft was just almost flat yung ano niya, yung cumulative returns. Okay? So, enormous increase. I think this is 2010 up to 2023. Up to 2020, out of 2019, before the pandemic. Let's see, 2019. Yeah, enormous increase here up to this one, okay? And then down during the pandemic period. Okay? So you can just easily, I'm sorry for the, some of this need to be revised because I changed the opening date. Originally, what I did was 2008. So this comment was about 2008. All right. So I leave for you to as an exercise to compute for the to see what about the log returns. Okay, given that it's just this one. Okay, so try to see how you would generate this with this one. Okay. All right. So let's end there. Okay. For next meeting, okay, I don't want to start with the charting with Quantmod because this is quite long. So for next meeting, before we go to the lesson on the SMA, RSI, those things, we will do first some charting using Quantmod and then proceed to the main topic for that day. Right? So let me stop recording now.